San Diego here in Coronado, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my career today.
Okay, David, we're here at Station 2. We have to ask some questions for our sports medicine class. For question 1, we want to know your education.
Okay. As a firefighter paramedic, I've had to be trained both in the discipline of fire science and emergency medicine. I've spent several years in college, as well as several years on the job doing training. Typically, to become a firefighter, usually you have to go through a fire academy, which on average takes about 6 months, as well as a lot of classes in preparation. And then to become a paramedic, you usually have to do 6 months to a year as a basic EMT, and then go through a year-long paramedic program. So when it's all said and done, to actually be a firefighter paramedic, it takes about 3 to 4 years.
Were there any internships or volunteer work required to become a firefighter?
Yes, actually a lot of departments require that you have some type of outside experience, whether it is volunteer work in a smaller department, working for the military, and in regards to internships, usually as a paramedic you have to do an internship, which requires you to do both classroom, didactic, which means that you're going to be doing skills in a hospital, as well as field internship, where you actually go out and participate as part of a paramedic crew, and you ride along as the third paramedic.
David, we want to know what you're interested in outside of work.
Well, outside of work, I try to focus on activities that are outdoors. Our job keeps us busy. We work 24-hour shifts. So when we have our days off, we like to enjoy them. I particularly like to go to the desert and enjoy my dune biking, as well as I like to go to the river. I have a boat, so I like to do some boating and fishing.
What kind of hours do you work?
Well, with our department, we work 24-hour shifts. As you know, people get hurt and injured all times of the day, so we work a 24-hour shift, and we actually work 2 days on, 3 days off. So we work 48 hours straight, 72 hours off.
Dave, what do you like most about being a firefighter and paramedic?
Well, I think that for us, the enjoyment is being able to help people, and it's an exciting job. Every time the tones go off and we respond to emergency, we don't exactly know what we're responding to or what we're getting, so it's kind of an adventurous job. But I think for me personally, the satisfaction of being able to help people when they need us most is the job satisfaction.
Dave, what do you least enjoy about being a firefighter and paramedic?
Well, with our job, we actually stay here half the month, and so this is our second home. So much like you have house chores at home where you have to cook, clean, do laundries and dishes, we also have to do it here. So once I get off work, after I'm done cleaning the station, I have to go home and clean my own house.
Can you utilize your profession outside of work?
Yes, once we're taught to save lives in the advanced life support position, we're able to help people that we find in everyday events that may have a car accident or an emergency on the side of the road. However, I actually teach at a hospital, so I take my skills as an advanced life support instructor, and I actually teach others so that they can better serve the community.
Okay.
Did you want to be in the fire service when you were younger?
Yes, I think that at some level, all young boys at some point want to be firemen or police officers.
What made you want to be a firefighter and paramedic?
Well, actually, I started out as a volunteer helping out my community. It wasn't something I was choosing to do as a career. I was doing it just to help people out. I was actually working construction at the time, and I was called to an emergency, and someone was in cardiac arrest, and we had our first CPR save. And for me, that was a life-changing event where I decided that this is something I want to do, that I wanted to help people. So I stopped being a construction worker, and I pursued being a firefighter full-time.
Did you take any classes in high school to help prepare you to be a firefighter?
You know, I did. I didn't know at the time when I was in high school that I wanted to be a firefighter. I think that it was something that evolved. But a lot of the math and science classes that I took and the English classes, they all evolved into things that I use on a daily basis. I use math to calculate drug dosages. I use a lot of the English and the grammar for my reports, and I use a lot of the science and biology for the patient health.
How long did it take for you to pursue your career?
Once I started out as a volunteer fireman, I realized it was something that I wanted to do. I took a bunch of classes at the community colleges in fire science. It took me about 6 months to get my first paid fire job. I was a seasonal fireman for the Forest Service, and I did a couple seasons fighting wildland fires and was able to pursue a full-time job. From the time that I decided that I wanted to become a fireman until I got my first paid job was about a year, and then to be full-time employed as a fireman took about 2 to 3 years.
What are some valuable personal qualities that a firefighter or paramedic?
I think two of the most valuable ones that they would need would be leadership skills and organizational skills. A lot of the medical emergencies that we go on, a lot of times when we get to the scene, it's chaotic and or people's lives may be hanging in the balance. So you need to be able to make split-second decisions in a lot of the life-threatening situations. And then you need to be very organized. You need to be able to prioritize what's important so far as patient treatment. And if you have multiple patients, say in a car accident, you really need to make sure that you prioritize two of the important people, and that you also need to keep your equipment and everything else organized and paperwork as well.
What are some qualities that could disqualify you from being a good firefighter?
I think one of the biggest things that could disqualify you if you weren't a team player, if you weren't someone who was motivated. We work as a team, we work very cohesively together. We operate in 4 to 5 man groups, and a lot of times we need to really rely on each other and count on each other. And if someone were to be an individual rather than a team player, a lot of times that's going to be detrimental to us saving a patient or us extinguishing a fire. The other thing I think is that if someone's lazy and not motivated, because you really need to be a go-getter in this job, you need to be able to step up and take responsibility and take charge.
What's it like to save a life?
I think it's really kind of hard to answer that question, but the best way to answer it would be that it's a very fulfilling thing. But for us, personal satisfaction, I think, is saving a life. It makes you feel like all those extra times that you took with a patient that maybe didn't need it or they didn't really care, it's all worth it. It makes you realize that what you're doing is worth it.
Which do you enjoy more, medical aids or fire calls?
I think that as a fireman, we all enjoy fighting fires. We try to not relish in people's misery. But for me personally, the medical aids I enjoy more just because I'm able to make such a large impact in the community.
What are some of the benefits of being a firefighter/paramedic?
One of the benefits is you have a little bit of an autonomy, meaning that you're able to act independently. On medical aids, a lot of times you're the leader, even though that in a structured organization we would have someone who normally would be above us in the fire service, it would be the captain. A lot of times on medical aids, everybody looks to you as the leader, so you do learn leadership skills and organizational skills early that benefit you later on in life when you promote in the fire service, say to a captain or a chief position.
What are some of the dangers of being in the fire department?
Actually, when you stop and think about it, there's pretty much dangers everywhere. We have a lot of accidents that can happen simply here in the fire station, slips and falls. We're always working in wet environments. When we go to fires, there's always the danger of fire itself, building collapsing on us, electrical dangers, explosions. And then on the medical side, when we go to people's houses, there's always the chance when we respond to an assault that we may be assaulted ourselves, or if we respond to a domestic violence that we may be injured. So there's all kinds of injuries, and then on top of that, when we go to the emergencies and leave the emergencies, a lot of times we're driving lights and sirens, and we're driving through intersections, and a lot of times people have their radios turned up or don't pull over for us. So there is the side of us accidentally getting in an accident as well. So there are quite a few job dangers.
Alright, David, me and John want to take the time to thank you for answering all of our questions.